Oh, hey there, Aquarius Collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. How are you? I am your reader for the moment. Thanks for clicking on. Angelo, Lyons, president of Drawing the Circle Productions, also known as MAL. They're my initials, MAL, Angelo, Lyons. And I am really happy to be doing these reads, this soulmate series. Almost done, just Aquarius and Pisces left, doing extended for all of them, which means for every sign. There's 2 videos, one here and the extended one on Vimeo.com. Links are in the box. Go check out, there's a lot of good links in my description box, actually, particularly definitions about soulmate and twin flame, both my own, clarifying twin flames, soulmates, and true lovers, as well as a wonderful one called Soul Contracts by Matt Kahn, a spiritual teacher from the West Coast. Really worth looking into. So another reason why I'm excited to do this, unless you've watched one of your other signs previously, I know when I get towards the end of the zodiac, I kind of feel like, do I have to keep saying this every time? But I'm going to anyway. That I am doing a Celtic cross spread, and I'm only using one deck, the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, and all the decks that I read, of course, are in the description box below with links, so you can check them out in more detail. So the other cool thing about it this time around is I get to bless the decks with you, which is kind of cool. Well, you're going to watch me do it. Otherwise, this is stuff I do off camera. So I'd like you to just take a moment, right? You tune in, you call in your higher power, ground and center, whatever it is that you do. Follow your breath, come into the now, bring yourself into alignment with source, whatever that is, you know. Or just relax, right? You know, that's my new marker of how do I know I'm in alignment with source? Oh, well, I'm in relaxation mode. Like, I'm relaxed, I'm not tense. Tension and stress is an indication that the ego is running the show, and it just. So also to clarify that this is a soulmates read, but we're talking about not only romantic sexual soulmates. We're talking about those satisfying soul contracts where you help each other heal, and that can be in any form of relationship. And so we're not necessarily focusing in on just one, depending on the spread. In some of the previous spreads I've done, people have had lots of soulmates show up in terms of friends and family members and stuff like that. So let's dive in. I'm gonna bless this deck. Here we go. There you are, my gods. Please bless this deck for the Aquarian collective. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love and their soulmate contracts. For October 2019, that this deck be a channel of your godly guidance and grace for the well-being of all. May the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need on the path of true love and their soulmate contracts for October 2019. May they be blessed. May they be blessed. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. Top 10 cards, Celtic Cross. Top 10 cards. Very good. Celtic Cross. Maiden and Mother and Crone. Get back in there, you. Heal the deck, pop it on its holster. Big old chunk of selenite. That's for my Daughters of the Moon. So this way I don't subconsciously shuffle them like with the other reads that I do, or just right? So the Celtic Cross is a pretty traditional spread. It was the first one that I learned, aside from past, present, future. You know, it's an easy one to learn. It's only 3 positions. So we're going to pull 10 cards here right off the top of that deck for where you are, past, present, future, as well as a couple of other dynamics. Everybody reads well, there are different ways you can read the Celtic Cross. This is the way I read it, and I will explain it as I go. Cool. Let's do this. First card down is the card that covers you, the significator representing you, and that card is, oh, interesting, the Aries card. All right, first sign of the zodiac. So it's not saying that you're an Aries. I mean, yes, you might have planets in the sign of Aries in whatever house, but really looking at this is that you are making a quarter turn inward to start making the journey, right? Is that so? If I'm laying this way, oh no, so it is this way. You're coming out of an internal phase. All right, it's a little different with the reverse camera, because if you watch my video on how I read reversals, particularly with round cards, this gives a slight timing, a cyclic, right? The round cards. so that if they go clockwise, you are making the journey coming from, well, let's call a first house what it is, right? Ego, personality, sense of self. And not just ego in the negative sense, right? Because we always put the ego in the negative sense, but that ego, that sense of separate. Yes, there is the toxic ego, which is about your fears, but I really believe at that point that depth is collective anyway, that there really is only one ego that we all share, and it is in itself patterns, emotional baggage, right? The pain that goes unresolved within ourselves and within the collective. So it's the first sign of the zodiac, cardinal fire. So we are really looking at just straight up selfishness, but selfishness that you're coming out of a phase of that. I'm not saying that you're narcissistic Aquarians. In fact, Aquarians are usually quite the opposite. They're humanitarian, right? But this focus of working on the self, that you perhaps have been pulling back and up, as Aquarians do, fixed air like stratosphere, to get some clarity on yourself. And you're just about out of that phase. You are 3/4 of the way through it, ready to boop, make that completely pop up. Cool. Good place to start. At least we know that's you, right? Aries, self. And they just want me to clarify, there is a difference between the ego patterns and the personality that you incarnated to play, because the ego patterns are in the collective, but you are unique. You came in to be a unique manifestation of the divine. Yeah. The character you play, and the soul is the actor. It's genderless, it's ageless, it's raceless, it's of the one. And the soul, right? So mating with another soul with a contract. And let's see if there are several with that representing you. Now let's look at the cross. The second position is the cross, or the situation, the environment that you are dealing with. And this time, my darlings, you have the hanged man reversal. In this case, obviously the hanged woman, but one certainly of going down into the place of surrender. So if I really turn this, you can see that the journey is going to continue to be one of, well, writing itself. Yeah, I guess. So it's that you're kind of going all the way through. Now, the thing about the hanged man, no, that is reversed like that. You're going into that place of surrender. Yeah, if this is turning clockwise, that you're it's so funny then these cards really are not opposing each other in that way that one would think, but it's sort of like you're coming out of something where the situation is going into something. So considering that the Aries card is going clockwise, Yang becoming more conscious from the subconscious to the conscious, from the yin to the yang, that this situation that you find yourself in, and maybe this is a person, is sort of like in that place of surrender and going deeper into surrender, right? So to that place where they're really letting go, letting God, letting Goddess, right? Surrendering to the universe, and perhaps sacrificing their point of view, right? Yes, it is a sacrificial card, but it's never about punishment. This is never about corporal punishment in this deck, or in my deck when I read, because if you look at her face, it reflected in the water. It's reflecting her interior world with her eyes open while her exterior eyes are closed, seeing things differently, willingly suspending yourself upside down to see things differently. And that's when miracles can take place, because when we're willing to see things differently, the mind can be healed by the soul. Yeah. So major arcana card, second card down. Pretty cool. Let's see what's at the core, the subconscious influence, what's really going on here. Well, there we go. We've got Bast again at this this quarter tilt, and that quarter tilt is actually mirroring that of the card of reversal, the hanged man. So with play on the interior, right, in the subconscious, stuff that we can know about, but it's sort of like looking down into the bay or into the ocean. You can see a little bit, but you can't see the bottom, right? There's part of it it's that realm of conscious and subconscious and then unconscious underneath it. That there's really something here where it's like the play, right? Bastet, fire, 6 of flames, that balance of fire that it's like, I want to play with this. It's 2 threes, which is harmony. And, you know, 6 of flames in the traditional tarot is victory, right? The guy on the horse. There's another card, the 7 of flames in this one, called victory. So this one is very specifically created to get that idea of balance in fire. So it can be that you're sort of playing with what you want to do with this situation while the situation itself is in a bit of a timeout where things have to hang out, right? It's like wait on the will of heaven, watch the movie. It's what my guides say to me all the time. I'm like, well, what's going to happen when I get uncertain, right? We all get uncertain, we get afraid. And I'll go, oh, you know, what's going on, what's going on, what's going on? And you know, all divination aside, the most direct divination is prayer and meditation. It means interacting with the divine. And they're like, will you just watch the movie? Did you ever watch a movie that you've already seen with someone who's never seen it, and the whole time you're like, oh my God, what happens? Because they know you've seen it. Just tell me what's going to happen. And you just watch the movie. You know, my guides don't get teeth gritty about that, but you can kind of feel that, right? So just kind of, there's this thing of, well, do I want to play this out? You're sort of trying to deal with this, seeing things different and getting clear on what it is that you want, what it is that you want to do. But the vibe on this really is one of, I want to play, I want to frolic. And just to point out, in terms of soulmates here, you know, you're not alone in this card. Yes, it's the Aries card. It represents you, but there are people who have your back where you are right now. Now, that could be tribal in terms of a group of friends. That they may not all be soulmate contracts necessarily. There may be a twin flame thrown in there. Really go watch the video clarifying those words. But so you're not in a place of alone, and yet you're dealing with the self and coming out of. So you know you have the support of other soulmates that you help heal and that you are willing to help heal as well through this time of the reversal. And inside of you, it's sort of like, I can feel it. It's almost like a gestation of fire. It's like, yeah, well, I'm ready. Am I ready to get out there again? Am I ready to play? Like, I want to play, but I just don't know if I'm ready. You're in that process of this clockwise, right? Kind of going that way, going from that quarter to bloop, all the way through. Yeah, you were 1 quarter through. I guess that's that way. You know what I mean? It's so weird looking at it backwards in the camera. I don't know that I'll ever get used to that. Tough. You get what I'm saying. So let's look at your recent past, or what I like to call the behind. What's in your behind? What's in your wallet? And here we have the Capricorn card. This definitely represents soulmate in the past, because the vibe I'm getting off this is like healer, teacher, leader, someone that you can look up to. Zoe, Capricorn, the buffalo woman. Yeah, right. Just looking at that, sort of inviting you into the tent to kind of give you some guidance, some grace there. This does feel older, but the Capricorn energy usually does, because it's Saturn, which is Kronos, which is the god of time, the father of the Olympian gods. So there's this thing of, yes, slow and steady wins the race. The tilt on this, again, kind of sort of, this tilt is more matching that of this Aries card. So it doesn't, yeah, both go in the same way. So one leads to another, and so if that is any kind of spiritual practice, again, it does not have to be a person. You can have a soulmate contract with someone that you never actually meet, but that you learn from. Like, there are a bunch of different teachers, I feel like, of total, some present right now that I may never meet in physical reality, but there's definitely a connection on the inner world. We're all one anyway. So their teachings, right, have really, really helped me heal. And I bless them. Like, may that healing return to them multiplied as well. Although my sense is if you're doing any kind of shamanic work, any kind of shadow work, this could even be a therapist, this feels very mature anyway, right? Like, they even say, like, Capricorns, they're born old and grow young. This does not need to be a Capricorn at all, like any planets in Capricorn. So let's call it a Capricorn archetype, right? Because like we have in this first card down, it's like, you're not an Aries sun sign, so you're dealing with an Aries archetype. So do have a look at those planets, particularly when it comes in the first position. Go look and see if you have any planets in Aries. There might be some indication there as well. But definitely coming from this place of someone definitely helping you heal, and does feel more long-term, more durable, more good reputation, definitely there, feeling that. Could be also be just a solid friend, but someone who has a certain wisdom and maturity about them, and that's not true every time that card hits the table. Like, that's really what I'm feeling on that. That is directing you inward towards yourself, especially because the angles are the same. Yeah. The fifth card is the crown, sort of the immediate future, or what's coming in, like not as this reading is happening, but in that same sort of area on the stage, sort of like a baby being born, right? It's like the crown. You can't tell the gender. You just see that it's the top of a head. So let's have a look at what we've got there, and we've got some emotional release completely reversed. So this is you sort of on your own, right, pulling back so the world doesn't have to see it, and crying, like nothing left but the crying at this point. But then again, this is the Four of Cups. The Five of Cups in this deck is called the storm that passes. This is about, really, though the card is called sorrow, I call it emotional release, that while you are looking at what is eroding from your life, this is all internal, right? Card completely reversed. It's completely yin. There's that thing about embracing the pain, letting it cry out, healing it. And certainly with this journey that you're doing within yourself about to come up, this would certainly indicate that this is really important to do before you pop up and will be done, particularly when you're in that phase, right, of the Hanged Man, of the reversal. Really going within, perhaps seeing your part, your patterns, your pain. Hearts, pattern, and pain. You know, when I start talking alliteration, it's them talking through me, because that's what I asked them to do anyway before I hit record. That's my personal prayer, asking them to take over. So let's have a look then. What comes of this in the card, the position that we call before, like what is before you on the path. And here is certainly a good sign of rebirth coming out of all of that. Well, there's no death card here, but going down into the interior world, emerging with the Ace of Flames, creation. So here's a piece of your inspiration, but it's creative inspiration, a new seed of passion, a new quest, a new and particularly with that Aries representing you, and play the Six of Flames in the core, that you really do emerge with this, with a plan. And you know what? This is so close to being upright. I'm just going to say it's upright. It was really like less than an eighth of a turn there. So we're just going to place that creation upright. So you do emerge out of this internal phase with new inspiration, new creativity, new, but an ace, a seed, it's what you do with it, certainly like a torch coming out and saying, now I'm going to go forth and I'm going to do this. You still got to go through the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, all the way through to the 10 for completion. But it feels like, get in touch with your playful nature while you're down there. Not, well, I mean, do we all have suppressed play? Sure. There are plenty of times when we where we had to be so serious about something, and then we found out later it's like, oh, I could have just enjoyed the ride. But even more so, that this play feels very, very creative too. And that's why we're doing the extended, because I'm actually going to add 30 cards to the 10 we're going to be doing just here in YouTube and Vimeo. I'm going to be using the angel cards, the Love Spazano Chuck Spazano Love Pack. That was a fucking tongue twister there. For the Masters, and the Whispers of Love for the higher selves. So just looking at your basic first 6 positions, what I call the microcosm, the small world, the personal world, right? We've got this lovely Capricorn soulmate, really feels like soulmate, helping you heal, guiding you through it. Very non-judgmental, but very, I feel the word procedural just came. So they're kind of taking you through this step by step. That's why it could be a therapist or a shaman or a spiritual counselor or something of that nature. And your present moment situation is, you know, you going through this reversal. Now, I do not feel like this is necessarily another person as a major arcana, particularly that it's in the situation of the cross. Had it been another court card, I would have said, yeah, and this person is the environment, the situation, the cross helping or hindering. But not to worry, because you do emerge in the future relative to October 2019, with that renewed flame, that renewed fire, true just an ace, but a good spark, a good healthy, like, oh, I want this, creation, creativity, which of course can express itself sexually as well. Now I have to say in those cards so far, not seeing necessarily anything romantic, particularly because you're in this internal journey, which seems to be going on with a lot of the signs right now. I mean, it is fall, right? We start to kind of not hibernate full on, but we start preparing for colder weather, sweater weather, right? We got the sweater weather going on. So what do we have at the core here, right? We've got this Bastet, Egyptian cat goddess of the sun, with the Aries card representing you in this journey, and some emotional release here. So yeah, you know, going in to connect with this play, it's almost like the thing of, I want to get out there, I want to do, I just don't know what to do. And so this emotional release, remember, completely reversed, repressed emotion, that really allow that to come through and up, and love it as it rises. It's okay that we want to get out there, but we don't know what. Uncertainty, right? No one has ever really been rewarded, particularly as children, for being uncertain, for not knowing the answer, right? And there are times when we're just not supposed to know. So it's not just there's nothing left to do but crying here. That's certainly an emotional release card, but this can also be about releasing emotional stress, the stuff you're picking up from other people, particularly if you are empathic, but also the world is going through so much right now that to be moved to tears, emotional release, there's all sorts of, let's say, causes for emotional release, even self-love. And that's why, for me, these extended reads have been very, very deep and very, very powerful. Yeah, I guess I'm trying to sell them on you a little bit, but like, I'm shocked at how clear some of them are and how truly mystical, not just spiritual, really indicating interaction and intimacy with the divine. So we've got your your horizontal axis, your vertical axis. That's how I read the Celtic cross. But now we will go up the side with 4 cards, what's called the staff. The 7th position, my Aquarians, my water bearers, is the lesson, what the gods are trying to teach you, and you've got straight up the card of the lesson. Right, so they're teaching you something. They may not want to necessarily explain or elucidate right in this reading what that is, although we can certainly look at the next 3 laying down. But this 8 of Pentacles, right, it's definitely work involved. And this indicates another soulmate, healing soulmate, but feels incredibly like this soulmate here, right? And that they're both older, at least wiser, at least they've been up the mountain a few times, so they're showing you how to go up the mountains, though slow and steady wins the race. But just do know that you are in a phase of learning something, and it has to do with practical application. It has to do with the physical world, how you interact, how you act, right? Air is what you think. Fire is your will, your choices, your desire. Emotions, what you feel. Earth is the body, but it's also what you do with the body. So to really embrace that you are in a learning phase right now, but learning through experience. In other words, this ain't just book learning, right? This is about practical application. As you see, the crone depicted in this card is teaching the maiden how to weave, and you see in the background there on this side one already completed, sort of giving her a goal of what's available to her. Why? Because the crone's done it. The crone's done it before, straight up. And that, you know, is really interesting with that card of creation right next to it. Proximity of cards in the Celtic cross always influence each other. This is all a snapshot of the quantum map of where you are on the path. Yes, this is a path of true love reading, but in terms of your satisfying soulmates. So there are definitely people here, like just looking at these two, supporting you, helping you, teaching you how to heal, but helping you heal. Not that twin flame thing where they can't give you what you need. They're helping you. And there's a real strong, mature willingness there. But then if I'm going to look for other soulmates, it's like you've got people backing you up. You've got people that not only have your back, but people that want to play, right? You have that thing of fun and wanting to get in there, mix it up. But maybe you, well, and really looking at the tilt of this card, how it's going, you've been in this, I'm not going to say underworld phase, I'm going to say in this internal phase, perhaps backing off from everyone, not really communicating. You're coming out of that, I would think, in the month of October. Lesson is very worth it, though. I thought she was wearing glasses. She wasn't. It's like funny when you read the cards. I've been reading this deck since I'm 19 years old. I'm over 51. So, every now and again, you see something new on it. It's like, never fucking saw that before. Then the 8th position, I think, is very valuable. It's called the world. How the world sees you from a horizontal trajectory. Like, even though I'm on this camera on my laptop, even a little thingy I have attached to the top, well, it's in reverse for me. Like, even in a mirror, I mean, this is the opposite of a mirror. You think it would be easier? Actually, if it was a mirror, it would be easier for me because I'm used to that. We can never see ourselves as other people see us, let alone the psychological lenses we see ourselves through, right, that people may not have. So this position gives us an indication perhaps of what we're putting out there. But remember, just because other people see us this way doesn't necessarily mean it's true or it's relatable, but sometimes it makes you sit back and go, oh, that's why that they're doing that, right? That's why, like, you're bopping along, but they see you as someone who's like limping, and it's like, maybe that's why they're doing that. Oh, so I find it very helpful. My gods, how the card of the world, how does the world see this person? You're not gonna believe this, the Aquarian card. They see you as an Aquarius, which is pretty right on considering. But what are we talking about with an Aquarius archetype? And that is straight up Aquarian. We're talking about 11th house, right? Humanitarianism, interconnectedness, ruled by Uranus. I'm not going to do the joke for once because this is important. A bit rebellious, innovative, right? Wanting to break new ground. Perhaps a bit distant, perhaps a bit dry. Y'all are known for being dry. It is the stratosphere. They'd be very intellectual. Like, if Mr. Spock was a sun sign, everybody says Virgo. I'm like, no, Aquarius. That is not logical, right? So, but definitely having that point of view. And what I love about this card, Shell, she's the eagle woman, flies highest, sees furthest, but carries with her a pair of scissors to snip out what no longer serves. So there's some altitude there. Now, maybe some people think that you are way above them. That could be that too. But that it is actually your sign, again, not necessarily a soulmate indicated here, but that people are perhaps seeing you as your authentic self. There may be some projections onto that, of course, we would see with other cards in the extended. But isn't it good to be seen for at least your sign, again, whether it's sun, moon, rising, or Venus? So really dive into what it means to be Aquarian. I mean, I kid around. I call the Aquarians the freaks of the zodiac because we've been in relationships with so many Aquarian men. It's like, you want me to do what? Is that legal? Is that safe? Like, really? Ready whip? All right, because you guys are rebellious. You think out of the box. Why? Because you like seeing the bigger picture. So, but also extremely friendly. Like an Aquarian, if you gain their trust, they'll give you the shirt off their back. But they will also try and solve any problem they can as technically as possible, not necessarily a water sign where you're air signs. Mine, but I love y'all for that. You freaks. Kidding, sort of. 9th position, such a key, not just a key part of the Celtic cross. Every position is key. There are only 10 of them. But for me, particularly in dealing with the eagle eye view, which is literally the eagle eye view here in this card, it's about our hopes and dreams, what I call destiny, because what are we hoping for yet terrified of at the same time? Our destiny. Oh yes, we want to manifest our destiny, but what we're going to have to do to get there, right? Just like the same card. What am I going to have to do to get there? I'm going to have to make lots of sacrifices, but particularly what I'm feeling here is this self-sacrificing that you're going through might very well be just about seeing things from a different perspective. And you have such wisdom here, right? These are both Earth cards, right? Literally, Capricorn, Cardinal Earth, the Crone of Pentacles, Zoe, the Buffalo Woman, and this 8 of Pentacles in your learner position, like really saying straight up, you're learning something, you're in a lesson right now. So to take this time, this solitary time, it doesn't have to be alone time. You could call it me time, covered by Aries. Me! The first sign of the Zodiac, babies of the Zodiac. To maybe take a little bit more of an innocent approach by really getting in touch with your playful nature. All right, let me see it differently. Let me see if I can play the game. Let's see, let's see, let's see. But that's the thing, let's see. It's very, very third eye. So this ninth position, right? Hopes and fears. It's where you are on the hero's journey on the path of true love, right? Like, all right, fate and destiny are not the same thing. I've said this in just about every reading. Fate is what we are given. Destiny is what we do with it. And the fate that we're given, we can't change, right? Like your eye color. Well, you can certainly get colored contact lenses, but to actually remove your eyes and put in a different set because of the color seems a bit much for a cosmetic surgery procedure, right? No, it's like, but then what do you see with that eyes? How do you see with that eyes? How do you interpret? That's a pretty basic explanation of fate and destiny. The one I like to look at, though I think is the most obvious to me at least, is Helen Keller, speaking of eyes. Blind, deaf, and mute, 18 months old. Any soul that incarnated into that body would have had to deal with that fate. But her destiny was to teach the blind to see and the deaf to hear, and what a knockdown, drag-out hero's journey that was. And she did, and traveled the world, and read Braille in like 12 different languages, and it was just astounding. And had she suffered her fate, we wouldn't know her name. So you look at that, and then of course I say to my students now, and my clients now, you can see, you can hear, you can speak. Think of your destiny in that way, right? So let's look at that ninth position, your fate and destiny. Where you are. Now, this isn't saying what your destiny is, it's saying where you are in terms of your destiny on the hero's journey. And we've got definitely a soulmate energy here with a Sagittarian, right? Someone that sort of stirring the pot, stirring the cauldron of Caridwen, like making change, making transformation, right? Stirring it up a little bit. And I think they're hitting that play fire inside of you big time. Now I have to say, just the vibe on this feels sexual, not overtly sexual, not heavy duty like that, but this feels flirty and flirtatious and fun. Flirty, flirtatious, and fun. Flirty and flirtatious is redundant, Mark. Sorry, spirit guides, whoever that is. But this feels jovial, right? Jupiterian, Sagittarius, expansive, wild, fire. So there's a lot of passion going on here. Again, does not have to be a Sagittarius. It's called a Sagittarius archetype. Someone who is sort of acting like a Sagittarian in air and fire is a really interesting mix. However, fixed air Aquarius with immutable fire Sagittarius, that could be a little intense, right? Because Aquarian, you're either going to kind of freeze them out in the atmosphere, or you're going to really give them that steady oxygen, the thoughts that they need to inspire each other. That feels really yummy. Looking forward to the extended to seeing what that is about. Last card down, and we're done, Z1Z. The outcome. Now I will say, the sixth position, in which what's before you, you have the card of creation, the Ace of Flames, and this last card, nothing is written in stone. We're looking at quantum threads here, that you can change your vibration, I would say deliberately, more than non-deliberately. You keep going the way you're going. This is how it looks like it's going to play out. But these are not carved in stone, particularly with the card of oppression. Now, this is one of the devil cards, but don't be feared. I just want to check. Yes, it is the exact same tilt as the Hanged Man. So this is about freeing yourself from the very oppression. Here, I'll bring the cards up nice and close for you so you can see. It's a woman under rocks, buried under rocks, right? Oppressed, flames burning all around her, and the rocks, the stones have faces on them. So who are the people, places, and things? The fears, the internalized fears. And with that tilt, with that, yeah, you're really going into that phase of going deeper and deeper, not into your oppression, but in that interior world of finding out how you oppress yourself. And then I'm just gonna guess that your destiny, this person, this Sagittarian, is just jolting you, right? Really, like you want to, but you can't. I want to, but I can't. Oh my God, I want to play. Now this makes sense that you're suppressing this. I want to play. I just want to Susan Sarandon in Rocky Horror Picture Show. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch me. And you're like, but I can't. But I can't, but I can't, but I can't, but I can't, but I can't. Now, if some of that is societal, I understand. If it's inappropriate, I understand. You know, well, Aquarians are usually not the type to just walk up out of nowhere and express their feelings out of the blue. There's a plan, there's a strategy, there's a larger picture there, a lot of thinking going on. But this playful fire really, particularly with this burst of creativity, someone's going to bust a move. Someone's going to bust a move. Is it you? Is it them? Can't tell right here, but this does end up, no matter what is taking place in your outcome, that you're going to find out what's oppressing you or oppressing this relationship in general. That's going to come very clear. And then what? You will have the decision, the choice of what to do with that. In the meantime, anything that you can be doing, working your lessons here, your wisdom lessons. Sometimes, this is interesting, sometimes we don't realize how far we've come in a slow and steady wins the race climb, right? A journey. Slow and steady wins the race. We just keep doing our thing. Just like doing yoga, just like working out, just like eating healthy. You know, at first you don't see it, but as long as you keep doing it, not that it needs to be that ritualistic and repetitive, but definitely as you keep walking the path, right? Keep seeing things differently. This card is so key. It's willing to sacrifice your way of looking at things to see a bigger picture, perhaps even a unity consciousness, fifth dimensional, true love perspective. What would love do? Then you'll get a glimpse of what this lesson is about. Because this lesson came straight up. So I'm not feeling, yeah, it may be a mystical lesson. It may be about the heart. It may be about being loving, wise, and powerful, bringing those three into balance, which certainly takes lots of relationships to just practice, right? To get that in balance as we heal and grow and learn and evolve. But of course, we all have things sort of built into us before we even, well, built into the personality before we ever incarnate into it, right? Through ancestral patterns, familial patterns, and then just the indoctrination of where we grew up and how we grew up and what was done to us. And I'm not poo-pooing any of that. I'm just saying that each one of those, all in all, it's just another brick in the wall, right? It's just another stone of oppression there. And the only purpose for these oppressions are for us to free ourselves from them. So I'm going to say that you have, and certainly we can even look at this as this soulmate, right? This fire and this fire could very much be the same person. But because this feels so very, very soulmatey, that you're gonna, if you can get over here to help each other heal. So regardless of what either one of us project onto this relationship, oh, you're the one. Well, in unity consciousness, we're all the one. That's the point of unity consciousness, fifth dimensional awareness, fifth dimensional consciousness, all that. Consciousness and awareness, essentially the same thing, by the way. That if and you're really being seen as being true to yourself here, right? That Aquarian card of being, I don't want to say true to type, but direct, authentic, a little out of the box thinking here. But that doesn't mean we all don't have things that oppress us from within, things that were written upon us in this life, things that were written into the script before we ever came in, but that we must have agreed to because alas, here they are. And certainly the indication, although it's not indicated in that card right now, with the 10 on the table, that there is there's going to be some freeing up. But that's at least not shown here. But let us be clear: one thing we know about Sagittarian energy, let alone archetypes, is they're all about freedom, mutable fire blasting through things. So just to summarize here, again, your past, your present, your future. You've got this definite Capricorn archetype soulmate, right? And then you've got this reversal, the hangman, starting to see things differently, but it's a journey that leads you into this explosion of new creation with the Ace of Flames, the Ace of Wands, if you will, because then on the inner, you've got this play, sort of like semi-repressed play, like I wanna, but I don't. Makes sense with that oppression card. You might not know what's oppressing you as you go in right now. That's okay. The relationship is gonna bring it up in you. And that this is sort of a solo journey that you're on, right? It's like, I really, really, really have to heal me. A lot of people are doing that. And really, that's the healthiest. It's the two questions I ask myself is, what would love do and what is healthy here? Like, what is the healthy thing to do? And if I don't know, I don't act, right? Not that it's all here. That's when I ask for guidance, and sometimes emotional release, right? And you kind of want to do that on your own. You kind of want to do that without an audience, unless, of course, you are working with, right? You're working with people. So you know, these soulmates. And again, they can be, you can have, I mean, I wouldn't call a professional my soulmate in that setting, but you can kind of see it as, oh, this is a contract. You came in to help me heal, and I'm going to help you heal. Because every time, look, every time a professional heals somebody, they did what they came here to do. So it's not always like, okay, now my turn, I'm the practitioner, unless you have it like that. Like, oh my God, if there's somebody who's really like a talented LMT, licensed massage therapist, I will totally, what I call it, I'll exchange a reading for a meeting. I know the K is silent, but I wanted to make my point. And then that is really soulmatey, right? When there is that equal exchange. But so is talking with a good friend who's been through something before, that you listen with love and receptivity and appreciate that's a healing for them too, to share their wisdom. And then, you know, lastly, I'll just go up this side one more time, this lesson straight up. If you can get in the lesson position, like the position I call the lesson, you got the card of the lesson. So an 8, there is something stable here worth learning. Not quite at a 10, but you're getting what you need to get to that 10. Yet how others see you, like as an Aquarian reading with the Aquarian card, that there's not a whole lot of falsity going on here, that what you're putting out, people are picking up. And that your destiny involves this Sagittarian archetype. Again, does not have to be full-on Sagittarian sun sign, but there is mutable fire about this person, something jovial, something fun, something playful that's triggering your desire to play, but oh, it's oppressed, right? And that feels like, of the tilt there, that the oppression is going to work its way out, right? It's going to make that work its way out. But this at this point feels like it's half internal, half external. So can't tell you what's going to happen there. Not with these cards. I mean, I could predict, but the 10th card, you again keep that open-ended, because it's all about what you're doing in the now. Absolutely cool. Well, my darlings, my Aquarians, my friends. I mean, you're all so freaking friendly. I love you all so much, my rebels, my revolutionaries. I love you so much, and I wish you the very best and the very blessed on the path of true love in your soulmate contracts. And you've got your work cut out for you to an extent, because you've got soulmates backing you up, right? People got your back, want to be there for you, want to support you through that. You have teachers, healers, mentors, as you wish to see that, sort of lined up already in your life. This one feels like is already in there and is helping you with it. But that the real key one here, it feels like this person and this person might very well be the same, and this is the one who has, let us say, stoked your fire, you big fixed air sign. Cool. Wishing you the very best and the very blessed. Please like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. It really does help circulate my work, getting out there, my work, my art, my career, my vocation, all in one thing. Cool. So for now, my Aquarians, take a deep breath, suspend yourself, see things differently. Oh, don't crack up, bend your brain, see both sides, throw off your mental chains. Ooh, the words of St. Howard of the Jones. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.